Hello everybody, Bruce here with a video for slide deck number 6 in module 2, where we will be talking about the JavaScript setInterval, clearInterval, and setTimeout functions. So let's get started. Again, we're going to cover these three methods, and they are super cool because a lot of the programming that you've done so far in your studies, maybe it's Python, maybe it's PHP, or maybe it's C#, I don't think you were able to do a lot of these things that we're going to be talking about. So check this out. setInterval. It gives us a way to create a bit of functionality that gets called over and over and over again every predetermined amount of time. Okay, predetermined amount of time. Now, here is an example. First, on line 1, we are creating a function, and it's a simple function. It has no arguments. It's called say_what. And if you remember that functions in JavaScript have opening and closing curly braces, and the code that's part of that function goes in between those two. And all this particular function does when it's called is print out to the console the words "Hello World!" exclamation point, right? Hello World! Exclamation point. So I'm going to hop into Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to create a new function in a script tag here, function, yeah. And we're going to call this function say_what, and we are going to do just that. And we're going to say console.log. What did we say again here? Hello world, exclamation point. Again, you can use single or double quotes around your strings. It's up to you. And then, in traditional JavaScript, right? Traditional program, we can call that function and it will run once, right? It will run once. So if I load this page up and I go to the console, look, there it is, hello world, one time. In fact, if I list it again, say what, right, just like we did in Python, if you took my Python class, right, there it is, twice it got called, right? But what if you wanted to call this function, say what, right, every 2 seconds, So check this out. Let me just put this back. I'll comment it out. Okay. So what if we create a constant and we'll call it, what did I call it in the slide here? I called it interval 1. Interval 1. Okay. And I say set interval. See, it's in the type ahead. And then it wants to know the handler, which is the function handler, which is called say_what. Notice no parentheses around the function here. I know it's odd, but if we did put the parentheses there, it would execute right away, and we don't want that. So remember that. And I said every 2 seconds, right? 2,000 milliseconds, right? So let me run this page again in Chrome, and let me refresh it. Don't worry about that. It's hello world, and then a second time hello world, and then a third time, a fourth time. And what it's doing here, instead of listing it out and making it scroll away, it's grouping them together. See the 8? Right? Do you see that? Okay? Do you see that? So if I change this, right, to every 500 milliseconds, what's that? That's every half second. See how much quicker it's going? If I change it to every 10,000 milliseconds, just like that, it's going to run every 10 seconds. So it's not going to run until that interval of 10 seconds fires off. Ready? There it is. And then in another 10 seconds, it will fire off again. Ready? And there it is. There's the second time. So think about this for a second. So put on your creativity hats and think about having a page where you could periodically fire off different functions, right, that are doing different things and maybe updating different portions of your web page. All right? Yeah, I said it in one of those voices. So that's setInterval. Again, you define what function you want to call and then how often, right, the interval that you want it to fire off in milliseconds. Cool, right? Now, you see this interval 1 thing here? You see that right there? If you ever want to, like clear that interval, if you ever want to stop it, maybe you have something running and then you have a button on a web page, and we haven't learned about event listeners yet. I believe that may be in the next video. You'll be able to stop and clear that interval. And the way you do that is with the clear interval, and then you give it the name of the interval, right, which is interval 1, the variable that has a handle to that interval. So what's going to happen here? Let's reload this page. Don't mind that. That's nothing. So let's see if it fires off after 10 seconds and then never fires off again. I'm just curious. Now, I think the code ran that clobbered the interval, just so you know. So it's not going to run. It's not going to run ever, because I'm clearing it like right after I instantiate it. Okay? So the way I would do this, right, and let me just do it. I may as well do it just now because I heard one of you say, can you show us? So check it out. I'm just going to put a button here. Look at that button. Stop the interval. Stop the interval, right? I'm going to add some JavaScript. I wish I put it, right here. Okay. And I'm going to do what I actually learned in a prior video. I believe it was slide deck number 4. And I'm going to say constant button. And I could call this B. I could call it anything I want. I'll just call it button equals document.query query selector, and again, this isn't a future video, and I'm going to get the button, there it is, and then I'm going to say button dot add, and again, this is coming up in another video. It's going to be the function when somebody clicks it. We're going to call the stop it function that I haven't written yet. Okay, again, I'm not putting the parentheses there. So I need to create a function now called stop it, and that function's job is to clear the interval. So not much code here. In fact, I'm just going to get rid of this so you can see it all. Okay, so I have 3 lines of code. I have 2 functions. The first function writes out to the console the words hello world. The second function is going to clear or stop the interval named interval 1. The button, we're getting a handle to it in the DOM. We're using query selector and we're finding the button. It's the only button on the page. And then we're binding what is called an event listener. When somebody clicks that button, we're going to call the stop it function, and we're going to clear the interval. How about that? So let's change this from 10,000 to 1,000. And let me just clean things up here. Whoop, there we go. And hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. But as soon as I click this button right here, ready? This button, right? See it right? I made it bigger. Ready? 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 Click. It stopped. It stopped. If I reload the page, there it is. It's running every second, but as soon as Bruce clicks the stop interval button, boom, it's cleared. Think about that. Now think about designing a game, a page, a news ticker, just about anything that you can think of to create dynamic stuff on your web page. Cool, right? So we covered, right? Actually, we covered query selector. We created two basic functions that don't take any arguments, and we used the query selector. Like I said before, we created an event listener. Again, we haven't even covered this yet. That when someone clicks that particular button, we call the stop it function. And then we were able to create an interval that fires off every 1,000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. And then every time that fires off, we call the say what function. So this is kind of like maybe nothing we've ever done before, because this is what we call event-driven programming. Event-driven programming, right? We are literally reacting to different events that occur in the web page without reloading the web page. PHPers, we are not clicking a button that's actually performing a post operation and refreshing the page. When I click on, let me reload the page here, right? You'll notice right here, or if we actually look in the network tab here, let me reload this page. So hold on 1 second, please. See, please hold. All. So this is just that web page. Oh, here. Whoa. There we go. Woof. So this just shows all of the stuff that's being loaded, page HTML. You'll notice that when I click stop the interval, there's no other elements here being loaded. Okay. It's not refreshing. It's not going off to the network, right, to reload that web page. All right. I went into the woods there a little bit. I'm sorry about that. So take a look at this, right? And then we're going to add one other thing. That's called, if we go back to the slide deck, we covered clearInterval. And here is, again, an example. setTimeout. Set an interval that only executes once. That's it. So instead of setInterval, where it executes over and over and over and over and over and over again, we can create something that executes once after a given number of seconds. Okay, so let me do that. Let me just say function. I like pizza. You knew that was coming, kids, right? And it's just gonna print out to the console, I like pizza without pineapple. Forget it. Okay, I like pizza, all right? And what I can do now is I can say create a constant called announcement, right? That's going to be, actually, I don't need a variable. It only does it once, right? So I can just say set timeout. What's it called again? I like pizza, and run it after 5,000 seconds and only one time. Okay. So again, set timeout, the name of the function to call without the parentheses, and then the number of milliseconds to execute it. So ready? Let's go back to my web page. Let's refresh it. Let's go back to the console. Wait 5 seconds. I like pizza. And nothing else. Okay, nothing else. I like pizza will not run again because we only told it to run one time. So we set a timeout that said after 5 seconds, right out to the console, I like pizza, and that's it. So I'm going to leave you on the code here. Let me shrink it down so you can see all of the code. You can pause the video. I want you to type this stuff in to get it to work. That's the only way you're going to learn it. That's all I got for this particular slide deck. I believe it was slide deck number 6. Hopefully I didn't say 5 in the beginning, right? It is, right? I'm just going to verify here. Let me just go boop, 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 boop. It's 6. So hopefully I didn't say whatever. All right, you know what it's about. Enjoy the video, enjoy the topic, and I look forward to showing you this in class. Thanks for watching.